Some big news since you and I last spoke was that both of the top of the tickets picked their running mate, and Donald Trump picked Ohio Senator JD Vance, and Kamala Harris did pick Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. You polled the favorability of all four of these candidates. What did you find?
Yeah, so this was pretty interesting. We see more or less what we'd expect for President Trump. He is highly favorable among Republicans. That, of course, tapers with Democrats and independents. It's a little bit more split. Independents, on the other hand, see Harris as unfavorable by 53%. Again, sort of split, but it is a little bit worse for Trump, 56%. We also see that 56% of women view Harris favorably. The same number of men view Trump, or I'm sorry, the same number of men view her unfavorably. And then 61% of women have an unfavorable view of Donald Trump. Then looking at the vice presidential numbers, JD Vance has a little bit of an issue here, I'd say. So he has 39% favorable versus 49% unfavorable. He is well known, but I would not necessarily say that he is well liked. Many young people, especially, don't know him, but 39% of 18 to 29-year-olds have an unfavorable opinion of him. And he also does not do terribly well with women. The opposite is true for Tim Walz. He is about even as far as favorable versus unfavorable, but he does better among young people. He does better among women. So these were some very interesting numbers to see. And it could be influencing the very top of the ticket, the presidential candidates as well.
According to the poll, Vance is 10% more unfavorable than Walz. So does this hurt the GOP ticket? You called this an issue, but how big of an issue is this?
I think that it is a fairly difficult issue to overcome. We've seen over the past few weeks that he's not had the best press coverage. I think that that's certainly taking a toll. When you have such sizable portions of the electorate who have an unfavorable opinion of you, that's going to be difficult to overcome. The other part is JD Vance is pretty well known. Very few people have never heard of him or don't have an opinion of him. So, to change the story, to change the narrative now, that's going to be really difficult. He'll have to get out there and at the very least not hurt the top of the ticket.
And he's more well known than Governor Walz. And when you are the unknown running mate, or at least more unknown than the other guy, does that help or does that hurt your ticket?
I think that this is kind of a unique case, frankly. We have a brand new ticket overall than we had just a month ago. So folks are still figuring out who Tim Walz is. They're still figuring out who Vice President Harris is, frankly. So I don't think that he necessarily helps or harms. I think that that could change once we get to the convention and the vice presidential debates. But for now, I don't really see Walz either hurting or harming Vice President Harris, which some would say is exactly what you want in a vice presidential nominee.